Audience, can I get a collective woo from everybody? It's a nice sound, right? First time I ever asked an audience to do that, a man from the back yelled out, "We'll see." That's how I started off the set. Later found out that that man, along with like the entire audience that night, 12 strong, were there on a Groupon for the guy's 42nd birthday party. Later in the evening, I asked how everybody was doing, and the man yelled out, "These nachos are subpar even for a comedy show." What the man did not know is he wasn't at a comedy show. He was at a storytelling show, which is a lot like being at a stand-up comedy show, except if someone tells a joke and it falls flat, they just pretend they were being interesting. For instance, if you guys didn't like that joke, I was so interesting. Marsha likes to point out that when we're listening to stories, all of our brains kind of fire in sync, and in that way, we are literally traveling in time together. So, audience, if we're cool, do you want to go back in time with me to 6th grade? All right, we'll see. So, in 6th grade, my entire class was assigned to perform My Heart Will Go On. The much-beloved theme song to James Cameron's 1997 feature film Titanic at our school's non-denominational holiday spectacular. We were to perform the song on the $3 plastic recorder. Much like today, at 11, I couldn't piece together what My Heart Will Go On had to do with our winter celebration. Sure, there's a loose connection to the conceptual ideal of love. If you want to push it, there might be something vague there about death by hypothermia, but that wasn't good enough. No, so in my prepubescent anger, I decided to rage against the machine. For the first time in my life, I called shenanigans. So, for the months leading up to the non-denominational holiday spectacular, I decided to completely opt out of our bi-weekly music class. While my peers practiced breathing techniques and finger articulation, I sat in the corner quietly muttering to myself about stupid James Cameron and stupid Titanic, while simultaneously drawing dozens upon dozens of pentagrams on my green 5-star binder. This insubordination, it went more or less unnoticed by my teacher, but it went completely unnoticed by the other kids. I had assumed that together we would rise up and we'd overthrow the Orwellian hierarchy of middle school. I'd assumed that together we would form a republic in which we could choose our own recorder songs, something awesome like Smash Mouth or Korn. I was so into Korn at the time. Nevertheless, with no one on my side, I soldiered on doing nothing, with the earnest hope that if I held out for long enough, these kids were going to come around, right? Because what I was doing was important. That's the problem with youthful ideals. You've often committed to something before fully thinking out the ramifications of that commitment. If you need an example of this, just ask anyone in the room who has a tribal tattoo. Or who used to be straight edge. What I failed to realize is that just because I opted out of the bi-weekly music class, it did not mean I got to opt out of the non-denominational holiday spectacular. Oh no. I would still have to appear on stage with my classmates, except they would all know how to play My Heart Will Go On. I would have no idea what I was doing. And this idea became terrifying. I quickly abandoned my youthful ideals and I take up arms with my weapon of choice, which in this case is the $3 plastic recorder. So, mere hours before the performance, I can be found in my room frantically trying and failing to learn the entirety of My Heart Will Go On a $3 plastic recorder. I can get everything up until the high note, but after that, it just starts to fall apart, and I picture what's going to happen to me. There's this full auditorium, and all of my school is there, and all of our teachers are there, and the parents are there, and they're all going, "Boo! Boo, you don't know how to play My Heart Will Go On." And they have these holiday cookies that they've bitten into ninja stars, and they're just chucking them in my direction. And Leonardo DiCaprio's there. Well, not Leo himself. Even in my fantasies, Leo will not come to the thing. But somebody has a cardboard cutout of Leonardo DiCaprio, and the cardboard cutout looks disapproving. So all of this in tandem, too much for my little 11-year-old heart to handle, and I start to cry. I cry out these loud, unabashed sobs. It's not my proudest moment. So these pathetic wails, they attract the attention of my ever-loving mother, who, like any good parent, comes in and attempts to quell my frustration. She comes up and she goes, "Graham, you seem really upset. What's wrong? And I say, nothing is wrong, go away! And she's like, Graham, no need to get loud. Hun, just tell me what it is, and the two of us will work it out together like we're a team. I love you, sweetie. And I say, I hate you, Mom. Things go on like that in a circular fashion for way longer than I want to admit. But eventually, Mom, she gets me to admit everything. I explain about Celine Dion and Anarchy. And I explain about like James Cameron and cookies and like, cardboard cutouts of Leonardo DiCaprio and the non-denominational holiday spectacular. And it just makes me cry even harder. So I'm in my bedroom and I'm weeping, and Mom, she takes in this little tableau and she giggles just a little bit and proceeds to drop the biggest knowledge bomb of my entire life. She says, Graham, it is an elementary school recital. Nobody expected you to be good. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, these things are always terrible. It did not matter how hard you worked, it was gonna be bad regardless. So just get up there and play like you mean it. And I'm like, I don't have to be good. And she's like, no, trust me. So that night, I get up on stage, dressed to the nines in my favorite oversized black hoodie. My peers are all in pristine white dress shirts. And I play what has to be the loudest rendition of My Heart Will Go On ever performed for a $3 plastic recorder. Hit all of the wrong notes with the confidence of a madman, and I just kind of shake my ass while I'm doing it. And you know what, audience? Didn't matter that I sucked. Didn't matter that I had literally no idea what I was doing. Everybody claps as though I am Celine Dion herself, standing ovation for the 6th grade class. So listening to the applause that night, I learned something. I don't know what it is, but I definitely learned something because in some ways I feel like I've been on that stage ever since. Guys, if you dug it, there's flyers at the back. Let's bring Marsha back up here. My mom's favorite storyteller, my favorite storyteller, everybody's favorite storyteller.